Energetic imprints. What are they and why do you need to know more about it for your own self? Hello visionaries, my name is Padma Ali from padmaali.com. So today we're going to be talking about energetic imprints. This is something I talk a lot with my clients, and the more understanding you have about this, the more awareness you can bring into that, the more easier it's going to be for you to clear the energetic imprints. Energetic imprints are nothing but, so when something happens in your life, you may have conscious memory of it, or you may not have a conscious memory of it. It may be unconscious. It may have happened in utero. It may have happened when you were 3 months old. It may have happened when you were 7 years old. It doesn't matter. There are certain significant events that happen in our life, whether we see it as significant or not, that leaves an impression in our body, in our brain. Let me give you an example, a personal example. So I was very sick for a long time, for many years as a young adult. I had an autoimmune disorder, which I no longer struggle with. At some point I might talk about that. And I was seeing, and there was no real cure for whatever I was going through at that time. Or at least that's what I was told by the medical system, that there was no cure for that. So I was seeking alternate care and alternate therapies and modalities, healing modalities that would probably help me. And I sought out a craniosacral therapist. Now this was almost 15 years ago, and these therapy modalities were not very, they were not very mainstream. Now chiropractors and craniosacral therapists and energy healers, they're all very part of the mainstream. Most people know about them. So I was seeking, I sought out a craniosacral therapist to just help support my body, because my body, I was in a lot of pain. I could not move. I was basically pretty much bedridden at that time. If you want to hear more about my stories, go to my podcast, and I have talked extensively about my journey with being sick. So my podcast is called Create Your Vibrant Life. Go ahead and subscribe to it and listen to the episodes. You'll find nuggets of how I work through that, which may be helpful for you. None of this information is for me. I'm not here to talk about me. I'm here for you to take something from this for you. And the reason I'm even giving you this example is because I want you to be able to relate it to your own life. All right. So I was on the table, and this craniosacral therapist was working on me, and I was very sick. So my mom was with me, supporting me, because I really could not even move. And she was working on my head, and then she turns around and looks at my mom, and she says, "Why did you leave her when she was an infant?" And I looked at my mom, and my mom looked at me, and we were both like, I was like, what is happening? Like I did not know about this particular story. So my mom was a little taken aback, because none of us were expecting this was the last thing I had ever expected someone to say. And my mom clearly did not expect that. So it took her for a second, and then she told this whole story of how she was very young when she had me, and my sister was very young at that time, and she was overwhelmed. And so for 3 months, she had left me with my grandparents. Now, I'm going to rewind back a little bit. Throughout my young adulthood, and in my teenage years, and even in my young years, like when I was a child, pretty much throughout my whole life, I struggled with abandonment issues. Now, I could not have any understanding of why I would fear abandonment. I would always fear that people in my life would leave me. So then when she recalled this incident of how she had to leave me with my grandparents, I was probably 3 months old or 6 months old, very young. So when she recalled this incident, I was like, oh, so as an infant, obviously I don't have conscious memory of it, but it had left an impression in my system, which I was then subsequently acting out as abandonment. Like even with, significant other relationships, I would get very clingy, and obviously it would cause a lot of issues in a significant other relationship. Who wants to be clung on to, right? And so all of these things would start to play out, but I had no conscious memory of it. Now, this started once I had the awareness, and then I was, we worked through it. I was able to clear that out of my system. That abandonment stuff left. I no longer live my life from that place of like, people are going to leave me. I don't care if people leave or don't leave. But that was not how I used to live. Now, how I want you to apply this to your own life is look at places in your life that you're struggling. Whether it's with relationships, whether it's with your career, whether it is with money, whether it is with health. Look at different aspects of your life where you are struggling with, and allow yourself, and obviously if you're working with me, I have a whole process through which I lead my clients to getting back to that place in your life where this energetic imprint happened in the first place. So for example, I'm working with a client right now who is struggling with getting her business off and running. She has all the qualifications. She's highly skilled. She's very, very good at what she does. But there's this innate fear of putting herself out there in front of people. So during leading her through the process, interestingly, what came up was when she was 3 years old, no, actually when she was 5 years old, is something happened in her life that made her feel unsafe. And she even says this, till she was 5, she was very vibrant and vivacious and like kind of a very full of life child. Something happened, she shut down right after that. So she no longer felt safe to be seen, no longer felt safe to be seen, because whatever happened, which I'm not going to go into because I don't want to show, for privacy reasons, it stopped her. And whatever happened because of a caretaker in her life. So you can see, right? It caused trust issues. It caused issues of like, I don't want to be seen because if I'm seen, it's not safe to be seen. And therefore, what started to happen was she started to shut down unconsciously. Now, because, as an entrepreneur, she has to put herself out there, she was not sure why she was not able to do it. But when we connected the dots and had her see, this is why she was feeling not safe putting herself out there or being seen, and energetically clearing it. I do have my own process of clearing energetic imprints. Then it allowed her to start putting herself out there without any problem. So energetic imprints are pretty much like if you take a palm of your hand, okay, and you put it on, and it's kind of sweaty, and you put it on a window or a mirror, and you take your palm off. Do you notice this kind of like a silhouette, or silhouette is not the right word, it leaves an impression, right? That is pretty much what happens in your body, in your mind, in your brain, unconsciously or consciously. Some people are consciously aware of it, some people are not. And so when you can understand this is where the energetic imprints are and you can clear it, what happens is that it pretty much removes it from the roots. Like you have the roots of a tree and you cut off the roots, the branches are going to stop growing. And this is, I don't like that analogy because I love trees, but I'm showing you a visual so that you can understand what energetic imprints are. So my invitation to you is to sit back and start to look at different areas of your life and notice where these energetic imprints are. And one way to clear it, obviously, if you're not working with me and with these things, I would be very careful about who you choose to work with, because there are lots of people out there who don't know what they're doing, especially when it comes to energetic clearing, and you don't want that energy in your space. So one way to clear it on your own is bringing awareness, bringing mindfulness, And once you're aware of it, then you start taking actions towards that. For example, with this client of mine who had to put herself out there as an entrepreneur. So one of the things we started to do with her is to start to do some work, like do some videos, post some posts on social media, like to be seen, to make offers, and then to notice what started to happen afterwards. If she was still feeling scared, or like if things were coming up, or she was resisting or procrastinating, then we could look at all those things. So this is one way to work with that. The other way to work with that is to start doing some journaling around this event or incident that happened. Sit in meditation, ask, where is this energetic imprint still in your system? Once you have awareness of that, start to write it down. Recognize and notice that this happened in the past. It's no longer relevant to you right now. It is safe, because what keeps the past alive is the reptilian brain. Right here, the reptilian brain is in charge of your safety. So it's going to do everything and anything to keep you safe. All right. So if you have any questions, please post in the comment section below. Please subscribe to the channel. Invite people to watch this video. It's going to be helpful for you and for all people in your life. Thank you so much. Once again, this is Padma from PadmaAli.com.